John Daniel here, Todd from John's Wacky World, and today we're gonna talk about some ghost stories. It's not Halloween, it's the middle of winter, but I figured we could tell some ghost stories, and I am gonna tell a few personal stories from my past. I've had an interest in ghosts since I was a little kid, and read many books on ghosts over the years, and I'd like to share with you a book, Haunted Northern New York, where I was featured back in 2001, and this is called oh, I have ghost hands, oh boy. This is called Cemetery Caretaker, Messina, and I had a job as grave digger, and I'm probably going to end up doing that again eventually. So let me read this ghoulish tale to you, and look as scary as possible as a ghosty boy here. John Michaud worked part-time for 2 years as a caretaker and grave digger at cemeteries around Messina. His was a daunting task, saying goodbye to people he knew as he packed down the freshly turned soil over their graves. Working diligently, working to maintain cemetery grounds, and of course, dealing with the occasional ghostly apparition. In his words, he describes the 2 encounters that turned a self-ascribed skeptic into a firm believer. Yes, the first occurred during the summer of 1998. A man was working with me at the cemetery to fulfill his required probationary community service hours. The boss sent him off to push mow in the old section of the cemetery. Within minutes he returned, frightened, and complained that he saw someone dressed in a dark suit who grinned at him, then suddenly disappeared before his eyes. He begged to be put anywhere but back over in that section. The boss and I chuckled, and the man was sent to another section of the cemetery. Some time later, I was cutting shrubbery in the cemetery when I noticed that a car had quickly driven around another caretaker's pickup truck. While crouching over cutting a shrub, I noticed an older woman in a dress with pearls walking towards me. I assumed she was going to ask me the location of a buried relative, and continued about my work until her expected inquiry. It never came. When I looked up again, the woman had turned towards a gravestone and started to fade. She then completely disappeared after floating right through the gravestone. I shook my head in disbelief. The other caretaker saw me and asked what was wrong. I quickly informed him that it was time to go for lunch. Oh, I later ended up back in the cemetery again, and that would be in 2006, after I lost my apartment house, and I worked as a grave digger again and had some other experiences. One time I saw what you call a spirit orb, or a ball of energy. It seemed from in the ground and went up in the sky. The thing was huge and bright, and this was in the middle of the day with no sunlight or glare, and it was kind of cloudy. It must have been about 40 feet away from me, and I looked and I was like, wow. Another time I was burying someone I knew, when I was talking about her. She was my age, and I felt a slap near my lower back, near my behind. I asked the guy next to me, who was on community service doing criminal probation, if he had hit me in the back there. I said, and he said, no, I didn't hit you there. I'm like, someone hit me there. It felt like someone just hit me there. And they chuckled. Oh, maybe it was a ghost. So that old person I knew maybe was saying hello to me in a flirtatious manner. Who knows? Another time I was burying another person, and for like a few seconds, maybe 2 seconds, I saw the image of a man, transparent, standing next to the grave with the undertaker there and everything while we were putting the vault lid on, and I fell on my ass. It startled me, and the undertaker asked if I was okay. I'm like, yes, I'm fine, yeah, I'm okay. And they're like, what's wrong? Well, I just slipped. And I then, just to test myself, asked the undertaker, I described this person. Did this person look like so-and-so, tall, thin, you know, balding, glasses, and the guy said, yeah, did you know him? And I made up this thing and said, yeah, I knew him. And I apparently must have saw him, which was kind of creepy. And then a few seconds, while we were burying him, probably a few minutes later, I saw it again! The same man in another spot, watching himself being buried. So, I have many ghost stories from the past. I had a haunted house I lived in for about 8.5 years, and there are many stories from that place with many witnesses. So, this has been John Daniel with some ghost stories, and I will be haunting you later on YouTube with more videos. So we'll see you for now.